Hello and welcome to Reviews. As always, I'm Plume Noir, and this is actually a video I tried making last night, but I had a really bad day. And so when it came time to do the video, it really came through. I was overly harsh. I was kind of a jerk, to be honest, because I really didn't like this issue. I don't like this whole series. I keep saying that if you're going to do a book, you know, have it be about all female characters, with all female creators. I've said this in every video, knock it out of the park. Just go for the gusto and really just tell a fantastic story. And this book has not done that. And so, in fact, this book really ticked me off last night. And like I said, I was already in a bad mood, so I figured, I'm going to sleep on it. I'm going to think about this book a little bit. I'm going to pet my cat to kind of keep him out of the camera here. And yeah, I had to sleep on it. I had to calm down because I realized my mood was taking um, an effect on my review of the book. And so I did. And I thought about this and I realized what this book really is. This whole anthology book. Um, because it's like, why is it fearless? They're not really doing anything. In fact, if you go over the series of the book, the Storm, Captain Marvel, Invisible Woman, Miss Marvel, plot A takes up half the book. So in this 4-issue anthology, I think I counted it out in one of the other videos. It was like 16 pages for that. So half the book is dedicated to that. So in this whole anthology, you would basically have 2 whole issues dedicated to this camp, this counselor camp for young girls or whatever. And then you'll have like a shorter second story, and then a third story, which is like 4 pages, if that, and then some bios and like little interviews. It makes the book very lopsided for an anthology. It would have been better if they went with 2 stories each, maybe a little longer, because there's not a lot you can do in 4 pages. And but I thought about this and why it ticked me off so much. And I thought, okay, they're calling it fearless, especially given the last story in this book. And I thought, what do they even know what they want? And what are they trying to do with this book? Yes, it is, fearless. The fiercest ladies of the Marvel Universe unite to go to camp. Really? But it occurred to me, this book, it's revenge. I honestly think this book is revenge of the editors. You see, I think they're still hurting from the milkshake incident. Um, Now, going back, you already know the whole Heather Antos and the Women of Marvel, posted a bunch of selfies. Well, actually, it was a group shot selfie of them all drinking milkshake, and your boy Zach, I think he coined them the Marvel Milkshake Crew, and kind of made fun of them. They said that they were going to, they were. It was Flo's birthday, and come back to her. And so they posted this picture up, and of course Zach went nuts with it and went, kind of a little overboard. Um, and I think they're still hurting from that because they caught a lot of grief because that whole crew, a lot of them got hired in with no experience. They have people being brought in. Look at the Zoe Quinns and that. Are being brought into the industry, no experience, but it helps with identity politics. And it was the influx of some of these people during the identity politics period, when that all started, that the quality of the stories went down. You started hemorrhaging fans. You know, the creators started insulting fans. People started walking away. Now, my theory is that this is actually revenge for that. Well, maybe not revenge. Maybe that's a strong word. Maybe it'd be closer to, thumbing your nose, saying, see, look at this. We can still do this. Huh? Look at us. what is funny about this, especially given the last story, and I say this as someone that has been, a fan of the industry for decades. I mean, I'm going back to the late 70s here because I'm old, so get over it. Um, and I can tell you, from going into the early comic shops, and going to conventions in the late, as early as the late 80s. I don't really go much anymore, but in the 80s and 90s, I used to go to conventions. And yes, it was mostly guys, but you would see a few women there. And what was it like? I mean, were those women pushed aside? No, actually, I can tell you that guys had no problems with women there. I mean, it was the type of thing that back then you didn't have the Marvel movies. Things didn't start changing until about '89 when the Tim Burton Batman movie came out, and it started to creep more into pop culture where it was cool to be into comics. Before then, you usually didn't advertise that, and most women, most girls weren't into them, and when you did find one, if you came across someone that was, you never made fun of them. You thought, hey, we like something in common. We both like something that most everyone else doesn't like. It had almost like a cool clicking nature to it, and it was a big stigma back then. There wasn't this hatred, oh, keep girls out of the industry. It was never like that. But I think because of online trolls, um, that this has happened. That at least the idea that women aren't welcome in comics, somehow that came to be a thing. And no, it's we don't want to be spoken down to. We're the people here who've been here all this time. So what am I getting at with all this? This is Fearless. I mean, 7 minutes. I've not even gone into the issue. I really think this is Editorial's revenge for all the, teasing they've gotten. And it's not a good book. It really isn't. I mean, look at this cover is horrible for one thing. This is a horribly designed cover. I mean, can we all admit that Miss Marvel's powers are dumb? For someone who's being pushed, as like the face of Marvel these days. And yeah, I'm going to try and go through this really quickly because this story, the conclusion of this camp story, is all the characters are idiots. Everyone is stupid. And I'm not saying, oh, it is um, because they're women or because they're being written by female writers. No, no. The characters are dumb. So, as you know, Miss Marvel found that, she'd been talking about this camp, how they scrub all the information off the internet, which is kind of dumb that they would have a camp but keep it so secretive because they're trying to help girls by having them meet superheroines to inspire them. But how can you do that if you don't advertise? And Miss Marvel found that little Kree technology and thought that the camp counselor was um, had was up to something nefarious. And this is one of those stories where I'm like, you know what? No, um, Captain Marvel. No, she doesn't have a point. I would agree with Miss Marvel on this. So Miss Marvel is making these accusations, saying that she knew the device. She thought she had something to do with it because she saw it before the aliens showed up, and the counselor says, I knew it was risky to let Kate build her project out of scavenged Kree tech, but we had Captain Marvel coming to camp. I knew she would protect us if anything went wrong. And that's when Captain Marvel says, she has a point. Um, you're a superhero. What would happen if, say, the Skrulls had showed up the weekend of the camp and you couldn't make it? So you're saying you're hedging your bets, excuse me, you're hedging your bets that Captain Marvel would show up, that she wouldn't have some type of conflict, that something wouldn't happen because you're dealing with alien technology. Why worry? Yeah, she was showing up. She'll save us. So yeah, very empowering there. And Miss Marvel keeps going, but you scrub every sign of the camp off the internet. You hide what you do here. To keep you safe, this is a chance for ordinary girls to meet superwomen in a safe space where no villains are going to attack. If we let it get too public, we'll have to shut down. Sometimes making a thing too easy means it has to end. Okay, you literally contradicted yourself there. You see, if it is more publicized, you take the risk, granted, but sometimes you have to accept the risk. The risk you have to, mitigate it. That's why you have superheroes there. So making it too easy means it has to end. Your logic makes no sense. How are you reaching out to girls? Is it only, oh, we're just going to help like these 24 girls, and that's it. That's all we want to help. That is our limit. That's stupid. That is really stupid, especially when you just said you're counting on Captain Marvel to show up, in case anything goes wrong. Which is it? Which is it? And I'm only on like the second, technically the first page, and it just gets dumber from there. This is more like an epilogue. Yes, there's going to be a lot of eating, a lot of affirmations. So basically, Carol saying how we could be awesome, and we all live on the same planet, and look how everyone just is just staring up lovingly. So we still have the aliens all locked up, and so what happens? The Avengers come to show up to pick them up. Why do I find this so funny? Well, you have She-Hulk here, who's practically a man anymore. But other than that, you have Thor, Iron Man, Ghost Rider. You're having the men clean up your mess. Just saying. I'm just saying. It looks like you're having the men clean up after you. So maybe that's on purpose. I don't know. I know, granted, you have aliens around a bunch of kids. You're going to need to have some type of pickup. You can't just leave the aliens, locked up all weekend. But I got a laugh out of that. And then it gets really, really dumb. Because you have them talking about Tony Stark giving guff. And then at some point, Storm became an idiot. Just an idiot. I've never understood that expression. What is guff? You've worked with Wolverine for years, who uses that phrase all the time. And then, of course, they try to woman-splain what guff is. Attitude. Backtalk. Okay, yeah, that's fair. The greatest man in the world, me very smart. You pretty just good woman. No, it's like, what? No. So they go, they hang out to sit around the campfire. And, oh my god. So, you have Invisible Woman ripping on Carol for eating marshmallows, eating s'mores. And then you have Storm. These were made of plant matter once. Now there's sugar and gelatin. What is their purpose? Okay, one gelatin's bone. Usually made out of bone. Storm, you know what marshmallows are. You know what marshmallows are. Maybe if this was like Uncanny X-Men number 117, when you would still walk around in the attic naked to water your plants, maybe then you wouldn't know what marshmallows are. You know what marshmallows are. Do not, don't. And this is what I mean. You're talking about how fantastic these women are, how fearless they are, and it's a camp story. But then one alien does get away, and captures one of the girls, and Invisible Woman even says that he has a good grip. It's a coin toss whether I'd be able to get a force field between her and the gun before he could shoot. Really. So she's sitting there, but she still stops it anyway. Okay, maybe it's just a distraction, but it's almost like they became idiots. And yeah, I'm going to go to the last page. As they end, So, who wants more s'mores? Can we at least get some hot dogs? Something that pretends to be nutritious? I like the chocolate. Who doesn't? Yeah, of course, it ends on food. I mean, come on, it's This whole story was really, really stupid. You have these powerful women, you know, some of the top heroines of the Marvel universe, and they don't really do much during the whole thing. They're not even really that inspiring when you think about it, since Storm doesn't know what marshmallows are. I'm going to skip the Nemerita story. It's kind of an alien type thing. Um, the one that I liked what they did with this. And here's where I came up with my thing about they don't know what they want. They don't know what they want to do. So it starts off with, Golden Age women cartoonists at Marvel. What a laugh. Everyone knows there were no women drawing for Marvel in the Golden Age. There won't be anyone on this panel. Hi, I'm a straw man, or maybe straw woman. I can't really tell. One thing, Marvel wasn't around in the Golden Age. They pretty much started in the Silver Age, which they talk about. They were Atlas and Timely before that. So yeah, technically there were no women in the Golden Age of comic books at Marvel. That is 100% true, because there was no Marvel. However, so we do have, a lot of these people, a lot of these women who worked in comics, which is good. I mean, I am all for, them, sharing, the information about these people who, don't get the recognition, you still see Miss America, has she gone, public domain? I thought she had. So yeah, we get the various, women and kind of a cutesy little story, which is fine. I actually like that. That is really good. More education. And then there's a one-page story here where it's Marie Severson and Flo Steinberg. And basically they're talking about Marvel and, what it was, like in their office, starting back then. And, it's not like I thought it would be. I mean, I'm Catholic, you're Jewish, but we're both here. As you know, they're both dead. They're having milkshakes, ice cream, in the afterlife. You think we'll get reincarnated? I hope not. All of our friends are here. By the way, this one-page story does not pass the Bechdel test. Just thought I'd point that out. Yeah, this is kind of heartwarming, but this is what I'm saying. The editors would make you think that right now, you can't be a woman and be in comics, and then at the same time saying, but there's always been women in comics, and that's why I'm coming around to what I'm saying. As a fan, we have never had a problem with women being into comics, with women creators. It's never been a problem. We're just interested, hey, can you tell a good story? Can you tell an interesting story? Can you not talk down to us like you have been lately? That's all we want. That is really all we want. We could talk about all the people like Louise Simonson, Joe Duffy, going back, just two off the top of my head that, from reading comics, that I'm like, okay, cool. I'm really into their books. And then we get the last page, which is, thanks so much for reading the Fearless anthology. Now, Fearless, I think, is supposed to be the women in the industry. I think it's patting themselves on the back because they have so much to fight against. All those nasty online trolls, right? Now, maybe actually in the industry, I'm not in the industry. Came close once, but I'm not in the industry. Maybe working with all the men in comics, in the comic industry, maybe it's worse from what you're dealing with from those men. Kind of like how that dude that was writing Border Town, yeah, how he kind of got run out because he was, yeah. Now, I can understand that. So maybe you should be facing them more than turning back against the fans. Just saying. Um, so go forth and be fearless. Make comics, read comics, review comics, except if you disagree with us, and love comics. We need your voices. And then we have every single editor. Because there is a line in here. This is also the first project that all the women currently working in Editorial collaborated on. It was a true labor of love, and hope you enjoyed it. And that's what I'm saying. I've said in every issue. Why do you need every editor? Why? what are all the editors doing? It's, yeah, I'm going to just start repeating myself from previous videos. Now, this was just to make sure we get every woman that's in the company on the book, and they can all have a credit in their byline. Okay, fine, whatever. Um, but as far as being like proof that, hey, women can be great, and most of the stories in here were pretty lackluster. Um, and some of them, if you want to be fair, when you had like these 3, 4 pages, whatever was left at the end of every issue, you can't tell a good story in that. Now this one fit. I mean, this one was pretty good, and even then, it's two different stories. It's a 1 page here, and then the 3 pages here, but it works well for that. Mostly, you can't tell. It's very difficult to tell a story in that short a time. So that's why I said should have brought the A game. Should have planned this out a little bit better. If you want to say, yeah, we're fearless, look how awesome, make a damn good product. That's all. That's all. This series has been very mediocre. I mean, I think I like the Night Nurse one. I do recall I actually enjoyed that story because it's a character. Hi, Butters. It's a character you don't get to see too often. Named Marita, I thought she was dead, but apparently she's not anymore. Um, so yeah, this book, it's editorial. The women of editorial having their revenge. That's what this book is. Thumbing their nose at the fans. That's all. Anyway, I got Butters here, so I think she's telling me to wrap things up. So got more stuff to catch up on. So as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.